So unfortunately I haven't been keeping up my kitchen duties, and I can't find a single glass, and I'm thirsty. Can't use this. This is a capacitor. Of course it's in the kitchen. Where else would it be? But anyways, no problem. I made a glass. Water. Well, how did I make it? This thing. My Ultimaker. I just built it. I've been taking little videos of the process, and wherever I get to something interesting or I get stuck, I busted out the camera and made a little video segment. So I'm just gonna put these together in the sequence in which I recorded them, in hopes that it will be at least interesting or useful to someone considering buying an Ultimaker or building an Ultimaker. Overall impressions after about a week of owning it is that it's, well, as you would expect with 3D printers of the hobbyist grade, it's temperamental. I've run into my share of problems. Eagle eyes will notice that the top here of this cup, glass thing, whatever it is, are not solid. Well, that's because the filament actually broke while it was going and printing, so it didn't actually fully print. So it actually broke down here, bizarrely. It didn't break in this thing. But anyways, I'll stop yapping now and let's get on to the movie. And if I sound overly critical about this, just keep in mind that I actually think this machine is an awesome piece of engineering, and I'm very happy with it. But I just think that these criticisms are a good thing to point out, so they can be improved or whatever. Alright, let's take a look. Oh yes. Ultimaker, imagine it to make it. Thank you, just open the box. Endless possibilities. What screw head do they use? Ah, good. They use the star kind. I like the star kind. Harder to strip. Mega pack. Alright. Ooh, yes, this is the electronics. Very nice. Well, here's the board, and initial impressions are pretty good, but not perfect. For the amount of money you're spending for this, I would expect it a little better, but it'll definitely do the job. It's definitely more of a initial version of a product. So over here we have the stepper drivers. These are actually separate little modules. I've already popped one out. These are called the Ulta stepper drivers. They're actually GPL. You can see GPL V3, and they're all labeled. All the pins are labeled. They have their own little baby heatsink on there. Very nice. I guess it will be thermal epoxied on. I don't see any retainer clips. One thing that I don't really like is that, and other people that have reviewed this, I seem to remember that they pointed out the same thing, is that you can very easily put one in backwards and probably explode your board. But it's nice that they split these out so that you can replace them if they do go bad. Looks like there's one unpopulated here. Maybe it's, I don't know what this would be for, but they all seem to be well seated in there, no problem at all. There's lots of TO220s. This would be a 7812 voltage regulator, and I don't know what these are. I actually don't want to bend them just now, but I think they're just yeah, Q1, Q2, and Q3. I guess these are the drivers for these things here, which, here's one problem. The connector actually obscures the silk screen, but I can kind of read heater 1, heater 2, and maybe hot bed. So I guess this does have a built-in capacity for running a hot bed. These aren't exactly straight, not a big deal, but would have been nicer. Let's see, power in 16 to 20 volts. Got a nice big fat trace here. Let's see. These connectors here, temperature sensors, so there's 3 temp sensors that I can see. A bunch of other connectors, not exactly straight, but again, not too big of a deal. Looks like all these are extra connectors to the Arduino Mega 2560 that's on the bottom. This is an actual Arduino, so in theory you could just pop this off and you'd have a Mega to play with. Italy, very nice. My parents are from there. Let's see, what else was I going to say? Yeah, I don't like how these are just kind of put like this. I mean, this thing is going to be moving around as it prints. Wouldn't be nice if these things kind of moved or whatever. I might tie these down in some way, but it probably won't be too much of a problem. If they vibrate loose, at least I think you'll be able to easily access this anyway. There again, the silk screen is covered up by the part. I don't really like that. But again, not too bad. Here's another package that's just sitting up there. As far as the actual soldering is concerned, pretty good. This capacitor here, I don't know if you can see that top pin doesn't actually have solder flowing through both top and bottom, whereas you can see that bottom one does. Not a huge deal, but I'll probably touch that up. Same with that diode there. I need to get a camera that can actually focus during a movie. This one can't. But let's see. There's a bit of flux residue on the board. You can see kind of fingerprints there. It's hard to see, but right there is a fingerprint. And it's kind of sticky. But I'm just nitpicking. Main power switch. Yep. I think that's all I want to say for the board. They've got nice decoupling caps here for each motor driver. What are they? JW Co. No idea. What temperature ratings do they have? Oh, they've gone for the full -40 to 105 on at least those. That one as well. And I presume these will also be fully rated for high temp use. Very nice. I might be overly critical about this thing, but hey, you know, I'm sure it'll be just fine. And it will definitely be easy to repair if there ever becomes, you know, a problem. This is all open source stuff. We've got a power supply, standard output. They put their name on it. It's just a sticker. Made in China, of course. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But anyways, 19 volts, 6.3 amps. Universal input. Oh no. Lots of Chinglish going on here. Alright, let's read it for fun. It says, for use with notebook PC Specaid, PCSPECAED, in annual book only. It feels really light actually, if I must be honest. For a, well, 120 watt adapter, I guess it's not so bad. Very cool. So let's start putting this thing together. I'm going to switch to time lapse. That's why this thing is here. It's a crappy little webcam there. I'm just going to set this to time lapse. Hello. And yeah, that will be the rest of this video probably, until I get to something interesting. Alright. Definitely smells like IKEA with all this wood stuff here. Alright, first little hookup. So these limit switches, you'll see that we're to use these holes that are pre-tapped to mount them without any nuts. Just beware that if you put this one here, say on this side, so that it's mirrored, and you use these holes here from this side, then you will find that the bolts don't actually get any purchase on the threads. So if you try to put this on and you just keep turning your screwdriver and nothing happens and it doesn't attach or attaches weakly, you know what's wrong. You just got to flip it over to the other side. It doesn't say that anywhere in the instructions, so that's a bit of a trap. I'm going to actually have to undo one of the ones on here, actually both of them of course, to flip them over because one of them is not really attached. Alright, another little tip. As you're assembling this, you may notice that you're having some trouble getting these panels to go all the way down to where they're fully together, if I can speak correctly. And I'm kind of worried about just tightening these until it goes completely flat. So I've found that if you smack it a little bit, I don't know if you can hear that snapping sound, but once you do that and just kind of hit it, it'll settle down to a slightly lower level, and then you can tighten these, tension it some more. See, this one's now become really loose, so tighten that a little bit, smack it again, not too hard, just enough, and then you can tighten these again. Well, this is a bit of a fail. This looks like a normal screw, but if you look at this one, you will notice that the center hole, the part the screwdriver goes into, is much deeper. So, that fits in just fine. However, that doesn't work, and it's not just a different size. I've tried smaller sizes, but it's the correct dimension laterally, but not vertically, so I can't actually tighten that from this side. Fortunately, here it doesn't matter so much. I can just easily reach around and tighten it from this side, but a bit of a fail. Oof, guys, I think I overdid it. I better let my hands cool off and pick up again tomorrow. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Ouch, hurts.